Welcome to 12 Report with Blessings Musugu, and these are the headlines. Auckland lights up 2026 as world's first major city to celebrate New Year. President Bola Tinubu insists on implementation of new tax laws in January 2026, despite criticisms from Nigerians. Guinea's electoral body declares military leader president. And we have our reporters stationed in different parts of the country and beyond. Afia Hagan is standing by in London. Omolola Ololade joins from Lagos, while Emmanuel Bagudu is in Kano. We've got the details in a moment. As much of the world continues its countdown to midnight, the new year has already arrived in the South Pacific. Auckland has become the first major city to usher in 2026, welcoming the new year with fireworks from the iconic Sky Tower. The celebration places New Zealand several hours ahead of Europe and the Americas, setting the tone for global New Year festivities. While the very first place to see the new year is typically Kiritimati, also known as Christmas Island in Kiribati, Auckland holds the distinction of being the first major global city to mark the moment, drawing worldwide attention. Joining us now is our senior international correspondent and anchor, Afia Hagan. Afia, first of all, compliments of a season. And then secondly, why does Auckland celebration hold such significance? I mean, I can see the beautiful fireworks there, launching them into 2026. Why is it so important?
Well, Auckland sets the tone for the rest of the celebrations that we'll see over the coming day and into the evening. Those gorgeous fireworks from the Sky Tower there. And as you so rightly said, Christmas Island is actually the first place to welcome in the new year, being 14 hours ahead of Lagos. But like I said, Auckland really sets the tone. It's the first internationally recognised city, the first global city to welcome in the new year. And those images will be broadcast around the world right now, the first big New Year's celebrations that are carried by broadcasters. And like I said, it sets the tone for the celebrations that will take place across every time zone. So now all other cities feel like they have to live up to those gorgeous celebrations, the gorgeous fireworks from the Sky Tower there in Auckland.
I tell you, I mean, Nigeria is way behind and we can't wait to cross over. But then, I mean, a lot of people might be confused about the distinction. We often hear that Kiritimati is the first place to welcome the new year. So what makes Auckland different, you know, in terms of being the first major city? Many might not understand that distinction.
Yeah, and we really do have to iron out that distinction. Christmas Island, Kiritimati, first place. Auckland is the first major city, the first kind of global international city. Kiritimati, a very small island with a very small population, probably had very small celebrations as well. But by contrast, Auckland is a global city. It's a major economic hub. So that's the first sort of major economic hub, that first internationally recognised city to cross over into the new year.
I mean, I can solidly guess that being the first global major city would hold a lot of water. But how important are these New Year celebrations for Auckland and New Zealand in terms of cultural and economical values? From Auckland, the celebrations now move to westward. So how important are these New Year celebrations?
Oh, they're so important actually to any major city because it's a major boost for tourism, for hospitality, for the nighttime economy. You know, we're in this space between Christmas and New Year where not really much happens. You know, everybody kind of beds in. And so this is a time for people to come out and people to celebrate. It's a huge boost for the economy. thousands of people gathering, possibly into their millions, to witness these fireworks. It's also a really powerful piece of soft diplomacy as well, right? Like we said, it's the first major city, reminding the world that New Zealand is ahead of us, I guess, in the time zones, but very much part of a global conversation.
So tell us, Sophia, which other major cities are next to ring in 2026? I know Nigeria is nowhere near, but what other major cities?
Yeah, London is nowhere near as well. We still have the whole day to go. But the time zones start moving westwards. So onto Australia, with Sydney and Melbourne being next. Now, quite significant celebrations in Sydney this year. They have been tapered down somewhat because of that terrible terrorist attack that took place on Bondi Beach only a few weeks ago. The actual Bondi Beach celebrations have been cancelled, but the famous fireworks that we see over Sydney Opera House will be still going ahead. The Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, saying that he didn't want Australians to feel like their celebrations were cancelled. Of course, they have to be tapered and they have to be respectful, but basically saying that Australians shouldn't be afraid and they will not be cowed by terrorism. So there will be some commemorations to those who died in that terrible terrorist attack that took place on Bondi Beach, but those celebrations still going ahead. And like I said, moving westwards across Europe, across the continent of Africa as well, and across to London over the course of the hours through the day.
All right, senior international correspondent in Anchor, Fia Hagen, thank you for bringing us up to speed on that. And definitely, I mean, we will tag along as other countries cross over. But at the end of the day, in less than 24 hours, we all would have seen 2026 and experienced what it is like. Thank you so much for bringing us the update from the other side. Now, in the meantime, as 2025 draws to a close, Nigerians across the country are reflecting on the events that shaped the year. In Makurdi, the Benue state capital, residents say the past 12 months were defined by economic pressures, security challenges, as well as social and environmental concerns. Our correspondent, Sewe Seanyo, is on the streets of Makurdi speaking with residents about what stood out most in 2025. Sewe, what are the residents identifying as the most pivotal point or the highlight of their 2025 there in Benue State?
Thank you, Blessing. So here in Benin State, right now I'm standing close to Wurukun Market in Makidi, where residents are here taking stock of the year 2025 and what it's been like for them. While some of them have described as very challenging, others have said so many defining experiences that they have had. And so we'll be speaking with some of them who have raised issues of insecurity, infrastructure, and other issues. And some of them will be here with us speaking. Hello. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Please tell us your name, sir.
My name is Solomon Tesuhi.
Okay, Solomon Tesuhi. What has the year been like for you, the year 2025? Tell us about it.
Very fantastic. I want to appreciate God for what He has done, for making it possible for us to come through the end of the year. I also appreciate my wife so much for making sure things go right in the house.
Okay, what are those things that have gone right for you in this 2025? Tell us about them and what are they? What are you looking forward to?
My wife has contributed for us to have a home, to us to have a house, to have it to live on. Through our contributions, and mine will have that 2026. I want that God should also help us so that we can develop that thought.
All right, thank you. What about 2026? What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward for 2026 to build my house and then take my children to school and then run politics.
All right, thank you very much. All right, so lessons, that's what one of the residents have said to us, that he has high expectations for the year 2026. Meanwhile, other persons have also raised concerns. Other persons have also... Sorry, give me a second. Like from the year 2025.
I don't want to say, but I can only say that I thank our governor, Dr. Hassan for his work.
What is your experience for the year 2025? Your personal experiences, what has it been for you?
Personal experience, what I will say is extreme well. But I have an issue. He carry everybody around, and whatever he said he will do, he used to do it. But when the casual staff, they promised us, and now we have not seen anything. And that's why I want to say something about this. You understand?
Okay, what about the budget?
About the budget, I heard about it, and it's very fantastic. And,
All right, thank you very much, sir. So, Blessings, these are the two persons that have spoken with us about their position 5 and 2.
you asked me about my name.
For the update on that from Benue State, that's Sewesianyo giving us an update and a feel of how the people basically experienced 2025 and what the highlight of the year was. And they're hoping for a better 2026. To more stories, President Bola Tinubu has announced that the implementation of the new tax laws will begin from the 1st of January 2026. In a statement on Tuesday, the president said the new tax laws, including those that took effect on 26 June 2025, and the remaining acts scheduled to commence on the 1st of January 2026, will continue as planned. Tinubu, while urging all stakeholders to support the implementation phase, said his administration is aware of the public discourse surrounding alleged changes to some provisions of the recently enacted tax laws. He emphasized his administration's unwavering commitment to due process and the integrity of enacted laws. Business owners operating within the Federal Capital Territory are raising concerns over what they describe as conflicting enforcement and alleged double taxation by the Abuja Municipal Area Council and the FCT Department of Public Health. While both authorities insist they are operating within their legal boundaries, business owners say they're caught in the middle of this and are calling for harmonization of a taxation process. Our correspondent, Idong Joseph, completes this report.
According to operators of restaurants, malls, hospitality businesses and other workplaces, for years they have struggled to understand who is legally approved to receive payment for revenues, whether the Abuja Municipal Area Council or the Federal Capital Territory Administration. Business owners said the conflict has created confusion, court cases and sanctions that are crippling their operations.
AMA could tell you they are the ones in charge of certain revenue collection, and FCT also tell you they are in charge. So
immediately when we made the payment, then the AMAC, they came with their sanction. And we told them, okay, why are you causing confusion all around? See our payment. We have make payment with these people on the same thing.
At the center of the controversy are two government bodies with jurisdiction claims over the issuance of notices regarding environmental and occupational health.
The court also was clear when it stated that in Deviani versus AMAC also, that AMAC does not have the right to issue notices with respect to food handlers test in the FCT, and the fact is clear.
While the Public Health Department of the Federal Capital Territory Administration has organized this meeting to enlighten stakeholders on the position of the law, AMAC, however, denies overlapping its boundaries, insisting that there is no jurisdictional conflict and that its actions are legal.
They are applying the particular judgment, and that is what I want to actually address. That gives them the power to do what they are doing. The Kentucky judgment. The Kentucky judgment only based its judgment on the June's judgment, and it restricted its judgment to that of medical fitness. But the FCT Public Health Department have gone beyond what the judgment is saying.
Whether the issue lies in legal interpretation or overlapping mandates, stakeholders are now calling for government-led harmonization process and a unified enforcement structure that protects public health without crippling their businesses. In Abuja for News Central, Idong Joseph.
Now, a fire outbreak has been reported at Arena Market in the Bolade area of Oshodi in Lagos State. The Lagos State Fire and Rescue Service said it received a distress call 5:50 p.m. on Tuesday and sent firefighting crew to the scene. According to the official statement by Margaret Adesheye, the Controller General of the Fire Service, units have already arrived to battle the blaze. The fire affected a section of the market made up of 10 container shops used mainly for clothing storage and sales. The flames were confined to those shops, and firefighters were able to control the situation without it spreading to other parts of the market. There are no reports of casualties at this time. You're still live with us on the 12 Report. We go on a short break now, and when we come back, we'll take a deeper look at the fire outbreak in the Bolade area of Arena, and our correspondent Omola Olade is on standby to give us more details. Stay with us. All right, many thanks for staying with us. You're still live with us on the 12 Report, and we did hint that we have our correspondent on standby to give us more updates on the unfortunate fire incident that broke out at the Bolade area in Arena. Omolola Olade is right at that area to give us more updates. Omolola, I can see that you're around Oshodi, the Arena market. What exactly happened yesterday? All right, while we wait for Omolola's update, we do know that the fire was contained. According to the officials, the fire did affect about 10 container shops that was usually used for clothing sales and storage, but thankfully the fire was contained and it did not affect the rest of the market. This, the officials got a distress call at about 5:50 p.m. yesterday evening when people were most likely celebrating the festivities. And fortunately, they were able to contain the fire. Unfortunately, about 10 container shops were affected that was used for the storage and sales of clothing materials. But beyond that, they were able to contain the fire. And this statement was made by Margaret Adesheye, the Controller General of the Fire Service. While we wait to establish connections with Omolola, I'd like to remind you also that this was just days after the fire outbreak on the Lagos Island that saw a lot more shops affected and people losing businesses and all. But thankfully, this one did not affect as many markets. We unfortunately can confirm that this affected about 10 markets, according to Margaret Adesheye. But beyond that, they were able to control the fire in time. I'd like to confirm once again if we have Omola Olade to give us more updates. Omola, if you can hear me, please let us know so you can give us more updates on what's happening. All right, while we wait to reestablish connections with Omola Olade regarding the fire, would like to bring you more stories. Now, indigents of Bunu land in Kogi State are appealing to the federal and state government to urgently intervene in securing the release of church worshippers abducted by suspected armed bandits in Ayetoro Kiri community. The appeal was made by the Bunu Development Association during a press conference in Lokoja. The group raised concern over what it described as repeated attacks on Bunu communities in recent weeks, forcing many residents to flee their ancestral homes for fear of further violence. While acknowledging efforts by the Kogi State government to address insecurity, the group insists that urgent and decisive action is needed to rescue the abducted worshippers and restore confidence in the affected communities.
The kidnappers kidnap our people, and they are still in what? In the forest. It is a humanitarian emergency and a threat to community survival. Despite effort by authority and the scale, frequency, and persistence of this attack indicate that current responses remain insufficient. Presently, I think above 30 of our people being kidnapped in Ayetoro Kiri. So they are still in a kidnappers' net.
It's also an opportunity for us to appreciate those who have been supporting us since the beginning of this crisis, particularly the governor of Kogi State, Alhaji Ahmed Ododo, ably assisted by the state security advisor, who is also our son. We know they are concerned and have been working so hard, but unfortunately, the problem persists.
We are calling on the state government, we are calling on the local governments, we are calling on the federal government to please come to our aid. Our people are in captivities. kidnappers have taken over. Our community are deserted. We can't go home for Christmas. People cannot go to farm. Children cannot go to school.
And since the inception of these insecurities in Bunuland, one concerning thing is that the local and the state authority have not deemed fit to pay a visit in whatever to Bunuland, as has been witnessed in other parts of the state facing insecurity issues. We call on the federal government to aid us. How long shall our lamentation continue?
Delta Development Commission presented a 1.75 trillion naira budget proposal for 2025 to the Senate Committee in Abuja. MD Samuel Okpuku noted the figure is 9% below 2024's budget, with 1.63 trillion naira earmarked for Niger Delta projects. 2024 revenue exceeded target due to budget extension. The Senate Committee on NDDC plans a physical assessment of 2021 to 2024 project. Chair Asuko Ekpeyong announced a January 2026 verification tour post-closed-door session to ensure value for money.
A key focus is sectoral funding allocation, moving away from line item budgeting that has hindered contractors from resuming projects. The 2025 budget stream budget of consolidation proposes 1.75 trillion based on revenue assumption. This represents a 9% decrease from 2024, driven by a no borrowing approach.
The 2025 year that is coming to an end has been a gracious year. There's been a lot of work. We've done a lot of project commissioning. We expect that 2026 will be even more project commissioning. And we will see more of the Niger Delta Development Commission reflecting the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President Bola Tinubu.
Now we're circling back to the story that we did bring to you earlier about a fire outbreak that has been reported at Arena Market in the Bolade area of Oshodi in Lagos State, where the Lagos Fire Services have confirmed that the fire services, attended to the fire and curtailed it. And unfortunately, this affected 10 container shops that basically was used for storage and sales of clothing materials. News Central's Omolola Ololade is on standby to give us more updates. Omolola, I did mention earlier that I can see that you're standing around the Bolade market in the Bolade area in the Arena Market. What exactly is the update on the fire outbreak?
Hello, Blessings. Yes, it's just sad, and unfortunate that we're having another fire incident just a few days after the fire that happened, on Lagos Island, one of the markets. And then just yesterday at about 5 p.m., according to eyewitnesses that we spoke to, another fire happened here at the Arena Market, just at the Nigerian Army Shopping Complex in one of the sections of the market. And then, while we got there this morning just to find out what exactly happened, we were able to, get into the incident, the exact place where the fire happened. But unfortunately, we couldn't do much because they didn't allow us, they said we didn't have permission to go ahead. And then we spoke to some people. That's of course, instead to get approval, you had to go to the general manager of the market, to sort of get permission. But unfortunately, he said we can't do much either. That for us to do anything, we would probably have to contact the army. That this is a very sensitive area. Although it's a market, but it's a very sensitive area because it's controlled by the military. So we couldn't get access. But we were able to, of course, get some shots, some of the B-rolls and get some, some shot of the fire incident. But as to what happened exactly, what caused the fire, we're not able to, get information, concrete information about what caused the fire. And then, just from what we gathered and what we saw, it's, obvious that market is a major market for what we call okurika or, Benese, because there were some clothes. And if you look closely, you see some clothes items that were, burnt to ashes. So definitely, it those were the things that were burned. I think that's a major section of the market. They sell those kind of clothes. So he got burnt down to ashes. And then when we spoke to one of the eyewitnesses, in fact, that was the only person that we were able to speak with. We spoke to one of the persons, and he said that, the market happened at about 5 p.m. and then they were able to get the fire, that's the fire service stationed in the complex itself. But unfortunately, that couldn't, because the fire, escalated, and that fire, the fire service, that they couldn't do much. So they had to contact the Lagos State Fire Services, who came afterwards to help, to help deal with the situation. Even as at this morning, while we were there, we saw another, we saw another fire service. Lagos State, of course, fire rescue service came into the, into the premises to help, to help quench the fire a bit.
La Onlade there with the update on the fire that broke out at Bolade in Arena Market. Let's talk politics now. The All Progressives Congress, APC, in Kano State has invited Governor Abba Yusuf to consider joining the ruling party amid growing defection talks. The state APC chairman, Abdullahi Abbas, who spoke on behalf of former party national chairman Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, said the move is aimed at promoting political unity and stability in the state. Meanwhile, the new Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, has urged Governor Yusuf to remain with the party following an internal crisis that saw several top members expelled. The Rivers State House of Assembly says it is not interested in the 100,000 naira Christmas bonus paid to civil servants by Governor Simialai Fubara. In a statement signed by the chairman of the House Committee on Information, Petitions and Complaints, Enemi George, the lawmakers said they have refunded the money paid into their personal accounts, describing it as unsolicited and unapproved. The Assembly stressed that all public expenditure must receive legislative approval, accusing the governor of spending public funds without due authorization since assuming office in 2023. You're live with us on the 12th Report. We go on another short break, and when we come back, we've got more stories to stay with us. It has been a week since a devastating fire gutted the Great Nigeria Insurance House on Martin Street, Balogun Market, Lagos Island. Emergency services remain on site, working to contain the remaining blaze and support ongoing rescue efforts. News Central's correspondent Israel Iferobo is at the scene with the latest. Good afternoon, Israel. It's been a week, and we can see the debris behind you. What has been the update? Has there been any update regarding the fire, regarding casualties, or fully not? And those affected in general?
Of the fire incident, it's exactly 1 week since that Christmas Eve fire here at the Great Nigeria Insurance building here on Martin Street, Lagos Island. If you can take a look at exactly what it is here right now, the operation is still ongoing. You can see there's still a bit of fire towards the basement of the building, though it has been contained a week after. But right now, excavation work is ongoing, but right now it's on pause. The rescue operations is still ongoing. Sadly, we understand that some people have indeed been confirmed dead from this fire incident that happened a week ago today. So yes, indeed, this is the situation that we have on the ground right now. You can see that the entire building, the entire more than 20 floors, all impacted and all affected. Not just this building, but those surrounding buildings as well were also impacted as a result of this inferno. Indeed, there were also partial collapse here and there in and around the building, and buildings all around us were also impacted here. So many people here, the traders are standing by, wondering when they'll have the chance to, get access to see if there is anything that they can salvage from this building. I have a trader here who will tell us, his experience so far here at the Great Nigeria Insurance Christmas Eve Inferno. What's your name and what do you do do here? Talk to us.
Yeah, my name is Kufre Charles. My company name is Unique Selling. I'm a trader here. I sell children's wear here. And this incident started as early as, let's just say, after 3 to 4. That was on the 24th of December.
Were you able to salvage any of your goods?
Yes. Obviously, I went back home that very night. I'm getting back home, and they now called me and told me that the fire has extended to my own plaza, which is this one that is opposite. So I have to rush back to CMS, which I stay in First Tag, to get my things.
Was any of the shop destroyed in this fire?
Very well. As you can see, the shop were burnt, but I rescued all my goods. I just have to pack them and go and find somewhere else to keep them. And up till now, we don't even have access to get to the building to see if any other thing that was still remaining for us to get it. So that is the challenges.
What do you think the government did not do right with this fire here today?
For me, the government is just so slow. As you can see, nothing is still happening, because when the fire started, I even videoed it. It was up to 30 minutes before we could even get the fire service. And when they came, they had to park, and it was a private fire service that came in earlier on. They were requesting for money. I don't know how much they were requesting for before they could start their work. And at the end of the day, they could not even be able to meet up with the fire to off the fire.
So now that all of this has happened, do you have people missing? Are there people trapped in here?
I know more than 8 people by face. Even they are my friends. They have 2 brothers. Which one? Chukwe Buka with his brother who died. I have a neighbor who stayed with my senior brother, the neighbor who died with the boy that is serving him. And I have Iya Anu, the only woman that supplied children wear suit, which she was the first person that they confirmed dead, and other several people. I think from my own knowledge, I know more than 10 people that are trapped in here because of this very incident.
Thank you so much for talking to us. Thank you. Whatever blessings. This is indeed the situation here. And earlier on as well, I spoke to a woman who is indeed, she was just in tears, and because her brother that was also trapped in there. She was meant to speak to me. She was on standby, but one of the relatives came and dragged her away, telling her not to speak to the press. So, and these are isolated cases, but it's indeed a general feeling of loss, of grief, of despair for the traders here at Martin Street, Balogun Market, as a result of this fire that happened on Christmas Eve. Blessings.
Fortunate Israel Ifaroba there giving us an update on the fire in Lagos, especially on Lagos Island, especially. It's quite unfortunate because particularly I've seen a couple of posts of people who lost their businesses, their containers and the likes, and our hearts go out to all of them. News Central will definitely keep you updated on the development. Now let's go to Kebbi State. A section of a private rice mill in Benin, Kebbi has collapsed, leaving 1 person dead and 5 workers trapped under the debris. The facility, operated by Nia Agri, was immediately cordoned off as emergency teams rushed to the scene. Deputy Governor Umar Abubakar Tafida visited the site to oversee rescue operations and assess the situation. Firefighters and government emergency workers continue to work to free those still trapped. Authorities say the cause of the collapse is not yet known, with a full investigation set to begin once rescue efforts are completed. Filled with emotions, accolades, and ceremonial splendor, senior police officers, representatives of sister security agencies, among others, converged on the police officers' mess at the Delta State Police Headquarters in Asaba for the send-off ceremony of the newly promoted Assistant Inspector General of Police, Olufemi Abaniwanda, who was recently promoted for his role as Commissioner of Police in the state. News Central's correspondent Austin Azu completes the report.
Olufemi Abaniwanda assumed duty at the Delta State Police Command in Asaba on February the 7th, 2024, as the 22nd Commissioner of Police in the oil-rich Niger Delta.
We'll look at what has been done, we'll look at what is on the ground, and we will try to improve on it.
After serving the state for almost 2 years, Abaniwanda was promoted to the rank of AIG, a position that resulted in his redeployment from the state to the AIG Department of Operations at the force headquarters in Abuja. Meanwhile, some police officers, representatives of sister security agencies, and others converged on the police officers' mess at the Delta State Police headquarters in Asaba for the send-off ceremony for the new AIG.
A very mature senior police officer who has made work in Delta State for me very easy.
I want to wish you well. The way you have facilitated my job in this place, wherever you are going, people who facilitate your job like that.
Officers of the command will miss you. You are very, very strict. You are disciplined. You are professional, but you are very lenient as well.
Some personnel revealed what they were missed most about the former CP.
They said the beautiful ones are not yet born. So I will just hold that as a glimmer of hope that I will meet someone else like him again in the future, because I don't think there can ever be another.
He will shout, he will scold you, but once you're doing the right thing, he will embrace you. He will always say thank you for a job well done. He's been a source of encouragement and motivation to a lot of us.
His reign as a commissioner of police in this command brought a lot of professionalism, a lot of discipline, a lot of dedication, commitment to duty.
While appreciating the accolades and commendations, Abaniwanda urged officers to remain committed to national security, rule of law, and ethical policing, just as he expressed confidence in the capacity of the next CP to sustain the operational gains already made.
Policing continues. There's a new minted commissioner of police for Delta State. Our appeal will be, please give him all the support to succeed.
The new commissioner of police is scheduled to resume duty next week, as formal handover process is expected to conclude before then. In Delta for News Central, Austin Azu.
Let's talk business. As Energies has acquired the entire 20.07% equity stake previously held by Morel and Prom SA in Separate Energy PLC for approximately $500 million at GBP 3.05 per share. I beg your pardon. The acquisition aligns with As Energies' strategy to strengthen African participation in strategic energy assets and advance sustainable energy development. Supported by Afrexim Bank and AFC, the deal underscores Africa's capacity to finance its own investment. As Energies operates OML 17 in the Niger Delta, producing 50,000 barrels of oil per day and 120 million cubic feet of gas daily, with significant reserves, reinforcing its leadership in safe, innovative, and sustainable onshore operations. Still talking business, foreign direct investment into Nigeria jumped sharply to $720 million in the third quarter of 2025, up from just $90 million in the previous quarter, representing a 700% increase according to the Central Bank of Nigeria. The inflow was also 26.3% higher than the $570 million recorded in the third quarter of 2024, marking the strongest FDI performance so far this year. The rebound coincided with improved external sector indicators, including a $4.60 billion balance of payments surplus and a rise in external reserves to $42.77 billion. While portfolio inflows declined, stronger long-term investments signaled renewed investor confidence. London's FTSE 100 closed at a record high in subdued trading, rising 0.8% to 9,940.7 points, as gains in banks and commodity-linked stocks lifted the index towards its strongest annual performance in 16 years. Mining stocks led the rally, with previous precious metal miners hitting a record and industrial metal stocks advancing on firmer gold, silver, and copper prices. Energy majors Shell and BP tracked higher oil prices, while major banks including HSBC and Barclays also gained. Trading volumes remained thin amid the holiday period. The FTSE's 2025 outperformance reflects expectations of Bank of England rate cuts, strong financials, and attractive valuations. Coming up on the news, Guinea's electoral body declares military leader president. We have the details after the break. Join us again. And now to foreign stories. Guinea's Electoral Commission has declared military leader Mamadi Doumbouya president-elect following the December 28 presidential election. The General Elections Directorate says Doumbouya secured 86.72% of the vote, with voter turnout placed at 80.95%. The 41-year-old came to power in a 2021 military coup and had earlier pledged not to contest the presidency during the country's transition to civilian rule. His victory follows an election in which key opposition figures were barred from participating, prompting criticism that the process was aimed at legitimizing continued military-backed governance. Mali and Burkina Faso have announced reciprocal visa restrictions for U.S. citizens following travel limits recently imposed by Washington. The two West African countries say U.S. nationals will now face the same entry conditions that Americans placed on Malian and Burkinabe passport holders. Each country's foreign ministry issued separate statements on Tuesday emphasizing that the decision is based on the principle of reciprocity. The move comes after President Donald Trump expanded U.S. travel restrictions on December 16, adding nearly 20 countries to a list whose citizens face limits or bans on entering the United States. President Bola Tinubu has made it clear that the new tax law will take effect on January 1st, which is in a few hours, regardless of the pushback. Now, on the surface, that reads as firm leadership, a government choosing direction over delay. However, Nigeria's economy is already under strain. Inflation is high, consumer spending is weak, and small businesses are barely staying afloat. Now, for many, survival right is now about cash flow, not expansion. So the real question is not whether tax reform is necessary, it is whether this timing actually makes sense, because tax laws work best when there is clarity, trust, and capacity. Businesses, you see, need to understand what they're paying, how much they're paying, and why. So tax authorities need the infrastructure to collect efficiently, fairly, and transparently. Without that, enforcement becomes less about reform and more about the pressure. There's also the issue of transition. Sudden implementation leaves little room for adjustment. Now, we know that they've been talking about this for a long time, but there has been pushback for informal and small-scale operators who make up a large part of Nigeria's economy. So if they are pushed too hard, the risk of compliance, shutdowns, job losses, and deeper economic stress is bound to happen. Nigeria does need more revenue, and that is not in doubt. But reform must balance urgency with realism, because if January 1st, which again is tomorrow, a few hours from now, arrives and the system is not ready, the cost will not just be administrative confusion. It will be on every single Nigerian, because right now, I don't think it's been drummed in their ears long enough. People are not ready for it. So Nigerians are already carrying more than they can afford. How much more can they carry? And that's your postscript. Now, before we go, let's take a look at what's happening in the sporting world. Nigeria wrapped up the AFCON group stage with a flawless record, beating Uganda 3-1 to finish with 9 points from 3 matches and build momentum for the knockout round. The Super Eagles maintained their balance and intensity despite squad rotation, underlining their depth and tactical discipline. The final group outing highlighted solid defending and controlled attacking play, with multiple players stepping up as key figures. And our correspondent, Udoka Ujoku, reports from Fez to give an update. Udoka, are you ready for us? All right, if you can hear me, Udoka, Nigeria finished the group stage with a perfect 9 points, topping Group C. How significant would you say that is, the strong group stage performance for the team's confidence heading into the knockout round? All right, well, stay tuned for more information on that with Udoka Onjoku on in the games right after now. But that's all on the 12 report for today. Remember, you may send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen because we want to see what you see. Also, do want to follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. Now, you can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times 274, Avo TV, and of course, live on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I'm Blessings Wasuru.